Alrighty, so as you guys can see here, if you look here in our top left corner, we do have the 1 hour time frame. So looking at this 1 hour time frame, you can kind of see over here that it is still very much very short on this trade. So let's say we would have run our stops, not our stops, I'm sorry, why do I keep saying that? If we would have run our Fibonacci from here to here, what would we have noticed? That the price didn't look really good. You know, the 1 hour candle came, we had this one big push here, and then we were completely destroyed on ourselves right here as we got into the London session. So on this situation, we're still very kind of bearish. We did range here, very normal here. Let's go to the 30-minute. Back again. Very normal for the Asian session, guys. Keep that in mind. As you guys can see here, 30-minute looking kind of decent. You know? Spread that out a little bit. Run it to the top of this wick, to the bottom of this wick. Let's highlight this golden zone real quick. Price did consolidate here before London came, pre-London came, and decided to just straight up mop this trade down. And then as you guys can see, came back, stopped this out, but then decided to come and hit take profit 3. So as you guys can see here, this trade, even though it did kind of make a little higher high, it didn't make higher highs over this candle. And either way, we're still trending. So to go long on here would be to go against the trend. And to going short here, you would have been stopped out. So in this situation, you would have been unlucky. But this is where just being very disciplined and being very patient works out for you. Because let's say, for example, a 15-minute and 30-minute looks good to go long here, didn't it? As you guys can see here, golden zone came here. Literally kind of took us out if you really think about it. And then kind of shot and it came right back down. If you really think about it, if we would have went, let's just leave that here really quick so I can find it. Give me a second. Let's go back to the 15-minute. Sorry, it's kind of far back. It's a good example though. Here you are. As you guys can see here, did look real nice. Had little Fibonacci from here to here. And boom. Look at that. Came here, and look how many rejections we have to the 38. I mean, this right here is telling me automatically, like, hey, look, this is not looking good. It's not looking good because we have too many rejections to the 38, and that can only mean one thing. We're just going to keep continuing to the downside, which we did. So at this moment, we're trading one against the other. We're trading a Fibonacci long on the downtrend. So that right there, you never want to do. You never want to trade one against the other in any situation. As we go through the course, you'll see other situations where we could be trading one against the other. In this situation, we're trying to trade longs on a downtrend. So as you guys can see here, this was a loss. So if you would have taken this trade, if you're using proper risk management, the trade would not have hurt your account. But as you guys can see here, we did come back down here, mop this, came right back up. And then now it's just looking really weird. So now here comes the London session ending, opening to the New York session, which is 8 in the morning. If we would have ran our Fibonacci's from here to here, look at this. We have a golden zone touch. Tap right there. Ended up hitting take profit 3. Never came back down, but it ended up hitting take profit 3 with literally no drawdown for about 64 pips. So that was really good trade. Very lovely. Whatever you lost here, you could have made back here. Really lovely. Very, very lovely. So that's one big thing. You never want to trade one against the other. In this situation, it was trading a long, which was buying against a downtrend, which you never want to do. So another thing that you never want to do is trade a Fibonacci long on a Fibonacci short on a different time frame. For example, you don't want to trade a Fibonacci long on a 15-minute on a 1 hour Fibonacci short. So let's kind of look at the 1 hour here, and let's see what moves we can find out. So over here on the 1 hour, we do have market structure being broken to the downside. We do have the golden zone being respected right here before hitting take profit 2. Let's see if we can go on the 15-minute and see something here. Look at this. Okay, now I see something. What do we have? We have market structure being broken here to the upside. We got kind of lucky on this trade if we really think about it. Take profit 2 was hit. But as you guys can see, take profit 2 was really the golden zone, and as you can see, it just straight up melted. So let's go back here on the 1 hour and let's see if we can find another example. So right here, from here to here, as you guys can see, market structure being broken to the downside. We have this candle, this push closing under these candles. We have our golden zone very well respected right here, beautiful for the sell. And let's go back on the 15-minute. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's say this one, this little trade, for example. We have these 3 candles broke market structure to the upside. Let's say we would have bought here. I don't really like this trade. It's not really worth it to me because this is probably what, like 20 pips almost? Yeah, it's about almost 30 pips in 3 candles. So I don't really like the setup, but as you guys can see here, this is the golden zone right here. And as you guys can see at the golden zone, we just kept going down. So we just traded a Fibonacci long on the 15-minute against a 1 hour short on the 1 hour. And we just lost because we try to trade one against the other, and you never want to do that unless you have multiple confluences, which we will talk about later on in the course, and you're going with the trend. So let's say, for example, if the trend was very much bullish and we saw that, at the end of the day, if our trend is bullish, it's still valid. But if we're trending down, as you guys can see on a higher time frame, we're kind of starting to switch. Either way, we're kind of ranging, but on the higher time frame, the higher time frames are always going to be more stronger than the smaller time frames. So as you guys can see, golden zone was very much respected before hitting take profit 4, which is a massive, massive move here. Look at that. Boom, 150 pips almost. Insane, lovely move. So that's a really good example of why you never want to trade one against the other. Let me see if I can kind of find you guys another example. So look at this. What do we have here? We have this little channel right here, and then we have market structure being broken to the downside. So let's say we would have ran our fibs from here to here. Look at the golden zone. Golden zone, then we lost. Why did we lose this trade? Let's find out right here. Let's highlight the zone, and we're going to kind of look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour candle. What do we have here on the 4 hour? What we have here on the 4 hour is a bullish environment. It's starting to become very bullish. We have a new higher high being created. This high ended up creating a high over this high. So at the end of the day, this is still very, very bullish. So just looking at that, I'm already looking at the 4 hour, and all I can see is a bullish environment. So if I were to sell based off of this right here on the 4 hour, I would have been stopped out. No time to find it. Oh gosh. Where can I find it? Bear with me. Oh, there you go. 4 hour. Sorry. I was on a daily. So look at that. 4 hours was a straight rejection. It was a nasty, disgusting wick right here. Very, very ugly. So, I mean, I wouldn't even have gotten in on that, because the second that this thing closed like this, showing a massive rejection, this was our golden zone to sell. But we already had a massive rejection on the 4-hour. So we don't want to sell when we have massive rejections to the bottom. That would be ridiculous. So look at this. As you guys see the next candle, boom, close the bullish candle, and we just kept going up. So at the end of the day, the trend ended up switching. It reversed. It went from bearish to bullish. So that was a pretty good move. If you guys wanted to get in on that, if you guys can see here on the 4-hour, look at this setup right here. This would have been the move. As you guys can see, two beautiful golden zone. Look at that, man. Barely touched it, but it still touched it. Look how amazing these zones are. As you guys can see here on the 4-hour, moves are massive. Look at this. Look at that. That's a 355 pip move. I have a whole bunch of students that only take these setups on the 4 hours and the daily candle. Why? Because they can just swing trade these. The stops are much bigger. But as you guys can see, 355 pip move. This was the move. And then look, it kind of formed a little form of support here and then came back up. So to resell here would be ridiculous. So as we kind of like progress and we kind of get closer to the more sections, like getting into supply and demand, support and resistance, and trend lines and whatnot, you'll see that, hey, that was a stupid sell. I wouldn't have sold there. So you guys will notice that. So one thing about the markets is, on the higher time frames, there will be moments where they will trend. And this is why I really don't like to trade setups based off the 4 hours. Sometimes like just entering immediately. Why? Because look at this. We would have entered here. Look at this. Look up. It went down 83 pips. It went about 80 pips right there before coming to hitting take profit 1, which take profit 1 was 90 pips. So that's crazy right there. So I wouldn't really have entered. If you guys ever want to trade the 4 hour Fibonacci, you have to be very, very, very disciplined. Be very, 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 very disciplined. I have to say it a million times because I know people just enter off the bat. You always want to wait for at least 1 to 2 confirmations. They won't always happen. It's better to miss a move than lose money. So in this situation, 1 confirmation would have been letting this candle close. Okay, now this candle closed. Okay, cool. I'm going to wait for the next candle. So, okay, it closed above the zone. At this moment, I kind of lost the move. So I don't even want to look at it anymore. But then again, some people would have got in, and guess what? They would have went immediately into drawdown before we came back into the zone. So in this situation, where are my stops here? Where are my stops? You don't really know. And then look, this candle came, just started going back up. So I never really trade off the 4 hour just by itself, just because, you really never really know all the time, I like to trade on smaller time frames going based off of the 4 hour. So look at this. We have a 4 hour long right here. Let's highlight this golden zone. Now let's go to our smaller time frames. Okay, let's look at the smaller time frames right here. What do we have? Okay, it looks kind of decent. Now, let me move this here because this is kind of more of where the setup happened on the 1 hour. You know what I'm saying? So look at this. Look at the golden zone right here. Look at that. If we would have entered on the 1 hour, we would only been 35 pips in drawdown. But take profit 1 was smashed for 77 pips. So now it looks a lot better. Before we started consolidating and came back down, and you wouldn't even want to enter this trade again. This is ridiculous. If you would have entered again after this consolidation, look at this. This thing would have stopped you right out. Would have stopped you right out. And then after that, I just kept trending and trending and trending. Markets like to trend sometimes. It could be trending or it could be ranging. I'm sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. It's very, very common. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that all my time frames are in confluence, meaning they all look the same, basically going one way or the other, down or up. And then I'll find my entries on smaller time frames so that way I can find out where's my best entry going to be. So that's the 1 hour. Let's look at the 30 minute. Let's see how the 30 minute looks like. 30 minute, looks kind of clean. Looks the same thing. Now let's go on the 15 minute. On the 15 minute, it doesn't look so good. It really doesn't look so good, to be honest. This looks terrible. On the 15 minute, it looks like a short. You know, it looks like a short before coming back up. You know, so I didn't really like it. You know, this was more of a higher time frame setup, so that was pretty good. So one thing that we're going to learn from this video is we always want to make sure that we're looking at our higher time frames and our smaller time frames to make sure they're all going in the same way. If you can't find an entry on the 15 minute, go to the 30 minute. If you can't find an entry on the 15 minute, the 30 minute, the 1 hour, or the 4 hour, not even the 4 hour, but like if let's say you can't find an entry on the 15 minute or the 30 minute based off of your 4 hour and your 1 hour Fibonacci into these ranging zones, this is when we go desperately into our 5 minute Fibonacci setup, which I'm going to show you a few examples right here.